Howdy, hi. It is Do Your Job Sports College Football Week 12 Picks and Predictions Part 2. Let's get into the video. All right, so we got nothing to recap because we did that in the Part 1 video for the Week 12 picks. So we're just going to get right into it. First game, Jayhawks BYU. This would be a banger in both basketball and football. But fortunately for us, BYU much better on the football field. So we're going to back them at home -3. I don't understand this line at all. BYU's undefeated. Yes, they have struggled the last few weeks, barely getting the win against Utah. Then the game before they struggled as well. I forget who they played. But they're back at home now. They're against a Kansas Jayhawks team whose record is very bad, despite playing well recently. I think this is a hammer spot of BYU -3. Like I said, Kansas has won 2 out of their last 3, beating Houston and Iowa State, with their loss coming to Kansas State. Beating Houston's impressive. Beating Iowa State, granted, I get they're ranked and there were only 1 loss, but Iowa State's been playing horrible football for the last 3 weeks, so I think they are fake news. BYU at home, not fake news. BYU is good. These offenses both very similar, being ranked 63rd and 87th in the country, averaging 430 and 415 yards per game. Kansas likes to run the ball, going for 214 rushing yards per game. That's good enough for 22nd in the country. So if BYU can stop the defense, I think they should be able to win this game handedly. BYU's defense is indeed much better than the Jayhawks. They are ranked 66th in the country, giving up just 336 yards per game. Kansas, one of the worst defenses in the Big 12, being ranked 175th, giving up 400 yards per game. If BYU can stop the rush, they're going to hammer them. So I think they're capable of doing that at home. They've had 2 close games in a row. They don't want another close game. They want a blowout victory. Give me BYU. Next game is the team BYU just played, the Utes, who are very pissed off, at Colorado. I'm taking the Buffaloes -11.5. Colorado's been covering for us left and right recently, so I'm going to keep backing them until they lose. The Utes coming off that loss to BYU, where their athletic director got fined $40,000 because he said the refs were horrible. The game was stolen. If you want a good video, go to John Boy Media. He did a lip reading of what their athletic director said to one of the referees. Absolutely hilarious. Colorado has won 6 out of their last 7 games. Their offense is clicking on all cylinders. They got Hunter, they got Shador, 2 probably, top 10 picks in the draft, coming off of a 14-point win at Texas Tech. Their team is healthy again for the first time in a while. They got all of their own linemen back. Hunter's 100%. I think Sanders' other son, Shiloh, is healthy, but he kind of sucks. That part doesn't really matter. The Utes are down horrible. They've lost 5 games in a row, all without Cam Rising. They've struggled big time on offense, only averaging 375 yards per game. In their 5-game loss streak, the most amount of points they have scored has been 21. They've scored under 20 4 times. Colorado is going to put up at least 30 at home. They might touch 40, genuinely. So I don't think the Utes are going to have the offense to keep up. Colorado pretty good at causing turnovers as well. So I think they should be able to get a few either interceptions or fumbles from this Utes team. So I'm going to take Colorado at home -11.5. I think the Utes have basically quit the season now after the loss to BYU. That was their Super Bowl. Their season's over. They're going to see if Cam Rising comes back for an 8th year of college football. I kind of hope he does because it's fun to watch. Very entertaining. Next game, staying in the Big 12. Houston, Arizona. I'm taking Houston -105 on the money line. This is a Friday night matchup between an Arizona team that has lost 5 in a row straight up and Houston that can still make a bowl game very reasonably. Arizona coming off of a loss to UCF against a true freshman quarterback by 44 points. They gave up 56 points, only scored 12 themselves. That is atrocious. UCF's defense is not good, and you're only scoring 12, while at that same time giving up 56 points. That is egregious. Houston coming off of back-to-back wins against Utah and Kansas State. Their defense has looked really good in their last 2 games, only giving up 14 and 19 points. If you're looking at these stats, Arizona does have the much better offense, and Houston has a much better defense. But based on recent games, Houston's playing great offensively and defensively, and Arizona's offense hasn't been able to do anything. If you're only scoring 12 points against UCF, what are you doing? So, based on everything I just said, give me the Cougars minus 105, Arizona. Well, to be fair, both of these teams are basketball teams, but I think Houston's got more to play for. They have a much more realistic chance of making a bowl game than Arizona. Arizona sucks. Next game, Coastal Carolina at Marshall and the Thundering Herd. I'm taking the over 56.5. This should be a very, very high scoring game. Both of these defenses are garbage. Coastal's ranked 237th, giving up 441 yards per game. Marshall is ranked 163rd in the country, giving up 395 yards per game. Coastal, weirdly enough, has had the exact same score in their last two football games. It has been 38 to 24. I'm not great at math, but if you put those two numbers together, you get 62. And 62 is bigger than 56.5. So that means we would win. In Marshall's recent games, they have scored 37, 28, 35, 23, and 52 points in their last five. They like to throw the ball. They don't really do running plays. They like big, long shots down the field, 20 plus gains. That is their system. No dink and dine, no outback hitch passes, none of that nonsense. Give me 25-yard out routes to the sidelines every time. So I'm taking the over. Coastal probably won't be able to stop Marshall, but they should be able to hang in their game because their offense is pretty good. So we'll take the over here. Next game to the Big Ten. Michigan State, Illinois. Again, two basketball schools. Michigan State quarterback is questionable for this game. They are coming off of a loss against Indiana, where they lost by 37 points. They have lost 5 out of their last 6 games. They've been getting schmacked by every single decent Big Ten team they play. Illinois also coming off of a loss, but it was against Minnesota, only losing by 8 points at home. With how Michigan State's defense looked against Indiana, I can't not back Illinois here. They let Indiana put up, I think, 49 points on them or something ridiculous. Just some absurd number. Illinois has been really good at home this year, having a nice home field advantage, their record being 5-1. Pair that with the fact Michigan State's road record is 1-3, and they might not have their starting quarterback. Now, I think this leads to a double-digit Illinois win. To be fair, Michigan State, if they don't have their QB, they're screwed. So we're going to pray their QB doesn't play, and if he does, I still like this number a lot because Michigan State defense sucks. They can't win on the road, and Illinois is really good at home. So you give me all three of those things. I like Illinois minus 2.5. Next game, James Madison, the Dukes, head to ODU. How is James Madison only a 3-point favorite? I thought this would be like -7, -10, but no, only -3. JMU coming off of back-to-back wins. They are fighting for the Sun Belt Championship. They need this game a lot. JMU has the better offensive stats and the better defensive stats. JMU offense ranked 61st in the country, averaging 430 yards per game, compared to ODU being ranked 111th, averaging just 395 yards of offense per game. JMU's defense only giving up 337 yards compared to ODU, who is giving up 415. James Madison is coming off of a 31-point win against Georgia State and a 17-point win against Southern Miss. They held both of those teams combined to 22 points, and their offense went for more than 70. So their offense is firing, their defense is clicking. They want to win another Sun Belt championship. Give me the Dukes, James Madison, -3. Final game. We're doing it again with Washington State. I like this football team. We're taking them on the spread, -12.5, and the over of 72.5 against New Mexico Lobos. Washington State, they're looking to continue rolling as one of the only teams left in the Pac-12. They are now ranked 18th in the country. They got a very outside shot on making the playoffs. I mean, the 99% chance it doesn't happen. But if enough of the big schools lose, it is somewhat of a possibility. The last statement is semi-true for both teams being good at offense and balanced on defense. Their offenses are ranked 13th yards per game, 471, and then 8th in the country, going for 481 yards per game. Now, unfortunately for both of these teams, their defenses suck copious amounts of butt, being ranked 229th and 257th in the country, giving up 433 and 480 yards per game. I don't know how you do that. That's going up and down the field basically 5 times in a single game is what you average. That's horrible. Considering you start with the ball most of the time on like the 25 or something, like that's egregiously bad. So, seeing as though neither of these teams play defense, Washington State needs to win these games by a lot if they want to have any argument that they should be in the playoffs over, I don't know, a 3-loss Georgia team. Going to be a hard stretch, but I'll take Washington State minus 12.5 and the over 72.5. All right, that is going to do it for me and this video. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. If you have not already, there is a part 1 to this where I think I gave out 8 picks instead of 7, and we recapped the results from the previous week. So if you want to go check that one out, I'd appreciate it. Before you leave, hit that like and subscribe button. Helps the channel out a lot. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.